it's Di here from Diane, and this week I'd like to show you how I made this card. It lays nice and flat, and it's an easel card, but it's a what we call a reverse easel. If you can see that, it stands up the opposite way. Instead of standing the other way, it stands up reverse easel style. So I think it's just a little bit different, and I think it's so nice. And you do your writing on the back here. I guess you could put a writing panel on the very back if you wanted to, but I just thought it was really nice, very different. So I thought I'd show you how I made this card. So let me show you what you'll need. Oh, excuse me. You're going to need a card blank that measures, I thought that was cut out in the end, it's just the way the light's shining on it. That measures 11 3/4 by 4 1/8. You're going to need a piece for your inside, I guess you call it, of the base of your easel, which measures 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and a piece of designer series paper that measures 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. Now I'm using some old paper from the Clubhouse bundle because I'm doing a mail card. I'll show you that in a moment. For our stopper, you'll need a piece that measures 1 inch by 3 5/8, and another piece that measures 3/4 inch by 3 3/8. Oh yeah, 3 3/8. I think that's right, isn't it? No, 3 5/8. So this is 3 7/8. Sorry, 3 7/8 by 1 inch and 3 5/8 by 1 inch. For the front of our card, you'll need a piece that measures 3 7/8 by let's see what this is, 2 5/8, and another piece of designer series paper that measures 3 5/8 by 2 5/8. For a back of our card, now if in the case of this one, it's got 2 layers, so I'll give you the thing for 2 layers, but I'm only putting the 1 layer because I'm using the green, the white for writing on. So this is the larger piece, which is 3 5/8 by 3 5/8 by 2 5/8, and the other piece will be the same size as this piece, which is 3 3/8 by 2 3/8, if you're doing the 2 layers on the back, which I'm not. For my piece on the front here, again, I'm only doing 1 layer, but I will tell you what I did for the second layer. And this piece came out of a piece of card that measured 4 1/2 by 3 1/4 to get that shape. Oops. Because I used the So Sentimental or Stitch So Sweetly, the dies. I used the largest die, I think. Yes, the largest die. Wrong one. Largest die for that. When I did this card here, I used the next die down for the next size down. So that would come out of a piece of card that measures 3 3/4 by 2 5/8. So, but because I only used the one, I'm only using the one again on the front for this particular card, and I'm using the Clubhouse. I've already stamped and cut out my golfer here, so we're going to use the You're the Best Guy by Fire, and I hope your next year is full of, which I didn't put on a stamp on the thingy, on the block. So let's pop that on the block now. Okay, that one hasn't got the things on the back. Okay, so, and it, yes, hope the next year is full of green fairways, blue skies and short putts. So that's the set we're using today. So as I say, I've done this piece. Let's get stuck in and I will show you what you need to do. Alright, so we're going to bring in our scoreboard, which is upside down, I don't know why, and we're going to score this on the long side at the 5 7/8 mark. 5 7/8. going to fold that in half at that 5 7/8 mark and just give it a nice burnish. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just, because this is like a really weird size otherwise, we're going to just pop that in there and fold that one back like so along that line, and then we're going to just give it a nice burnish. But if you wanted to score that, it would be probably the 2 7/8 mark. I think that's what I've got written on my instructions, my tutorial, written tutorial. So that's all our scoring done. So let's pop that out of the way, and we're going to do our pieces that need to be stuck together first. Okay, so we're going to stick our designer series paper here onto our layer. Now if you've got a directional, don't forget you need to make sure that you've got your direction running the long way, otherwise it will look funny. And that's on the big piece. On the short piece, you want it running along the short edge, this bit, this way. And on this piece, you need it to be running on the short way as well. That's if you've got directional paper. So we've got all of those stuck on there, and we're now going to glue our main parts to the inside of the card, or the base of the card in this case. It's not really the inside. This is why you need, if your paper is directional, you need to make sure that once you've got it in there like this, because this is the front of the card, that this all runs down nicely. And this piece goes on the front of the card. Now if you wanted to do the inside here as well, it's the same measurements as the front. I don't think there's any need for it, but that's just me. So let's pop that in there like so, and that's that bit done. So now we're going to work on, let me put the pin in my glue so that it doesn't go dry, on my front of my card. Get in there. Okay, so this is the front of my card. Now I needed to have a piece of scrap around here, which I think I left back over here. There we go, just a bit of scrap paper, because I'm going to use my Pear Pizzazz and my Balmy Blue. So, and I'm going to do the Pear Pizzazz at the bottom of my card, so that it looks a bit like grass. Fairway, but I didn't want it real dark because I need to be able to stamp over it. Okay, so that I'm happy with that, so that's okay. And then let's close that one up. We're going to do our Balmy Blue for the sky. Whoops. Like so, and once you're happy with that, I think it just needs a little bit more into the green. We will then say, right, that's done too. And I'll bring in my garden green, and I'm going to stamp You're the greatest guy by far, up in the top corner. Let's make sure that's right. Yep. Oh, hang on. We'll find out which corner. Yep, in the top corner here. Right, while that's drying, we'll bring in our other piece and we will stamp our greeting for the back of the card, which is upside down, I think, because I didn't put the thing on there. Yeah, what an idiot. And even though this is in garden green, I'll still stamp this one in garden green because I'm only going to pop them just in the corner like so. We still want plenty of room for writing your message. So I'm going to just use my writing markers in the Regal colours, and this one is real red, and then I will use the old olive. Looking at the ends, you can see this end is the narrow end, that's for writing with, and this end is for colouring with. It's got more of an end for doing your colouring. So that's all that needed to be done. So let's pop this piece out of the way and we can stick this onto the back of the card. Now, as I say, if you had your two layers, this would be the under layer and you would stamp on the white layer on top of that. But in this case, we don't need to. So that's the back of my card done, the writing panel, and I think that looks great. So now we'll pop our front piece on. So we want to put this about halfway, like so, so that it will stick out as much on that side as it does on that side. So we want to just pop some glue on the top end, making sure we're putting it on the top end, in this case, which is the blue end, the top here. And I've got mine a little bit lower because the lower it is, the higher it's going to sit. Okay, so once we've done that, let's pop the glue, pin in the glue, because we're not going to need it. I don't think we're going to need it anymore anyway. Oh. And we're going to pop some dimensions onto this bar piece here. So we'll pop about 4 along here, because you want it to stick nice and tight. And work out where we want this to go. So we want him to sit up nice and high. So, oops. So I think we need him to go about there. That's it, like so. Right, now we're going to pop some dimensions onto the back of our golfer. I've got some smaller ones here to fill in the spaces. Down his legs. Oh, come on, sit down straight, and between his feet. And I might cut a tiny squidgen off this piece here just to go onto the back of the thing there. I think that's about all we need on there. Come on. That one didn't come off, that's better. Too many in my hand all at once. And then we're going to pop our little golfer man onto the back of this, like so. And that's our card. How gorgeous does that look? Now I think it needs a little bit more, so I've got a little bit of an idea. I've got a 1/2 inch circle punch here, and I'm just going to cut out or punch out about 3 or 4 look like golf balls, and I'm going to pop some dimensions onto the back of these so you can oops, it's stuck to my finger. Ah, there. So we can pop a little golf ball here and here. I guess I could have cut them out of the paper about the right size. I never even gave that a thought. So, and I will pop a couple more down here. I think I could have. Sorry about that. I ran out of space on my camera, so while I was gone, and fixed it up. I looked at these and I hated them, so I've actually got the paper out and I actually cut them out using the same punch, the 1/2 inch circle punch, and I'm going to pop them on top of the parts to finish off the card. It just looked wrong, it just didn't look good, so there we go, all on the top of those, and that looks heaps better now. I'm really happy with the way that looks in comparison to the other way. Oh dear, I don't know. Isn't it funny how you have these ideas and then when they come through they don't look right? So anyway, so that's the end of my card. I hope you've enjoyed today's card. I'll pop that up on an angle so you can see it a bit better. Whoops. It sits up really nice and high. So, and this is only one of 2 of this style of cards I'm going to do. I've got 2 versions and I've already written the tutorials for it, but I can't remember if it's version 1 or version 2. So you'll have to have a look. If you like this card, the tutorial for this card, please head over to Diane for Stamping, Crafting and Tutorials. There you will find the tutorial for this, and all my other tutorials are there as well. And I will see you again next week. Bye for now.